for tuning in to another episode of Three Ways to Say It. I am your host, Todd Carter.
Hey everyone, this is Ashley.
And this your boy
We will be
Casey.
talking about relationships. Like, how do you know when a relationship is over? What are some of the things that you notice, look for, or just how you're feeling? So we're just going to kind of talk about that tonight.
Okay.
In case you're smiling.
Oh, because I'm ready to talk about it.
Relationship is over.
Yeah. You want me to go ahead and answer? Because I can go ahead and kick it off.
No, because it was smiling. You want to tell me something.
All right. Well, only because I think some people don't even realize when relationships be over with. I feel like some people need to hear it. But for me, when I feel like a relationship is over, I think it's two ways. I think you're gonna see it emotionally and then physically. Physically, when you look at somebody, when you date somebody, you want to do like stuff with them, you want to be around them, you want to touch them and all that. When you get to that point in a relationship with somebody, you don't want to touch them, barely want to be around them. You don't even want to sleep next to them for real. That's that physical. When you ain't really desiring them no more, you kind of know it's over. Like, it's no point even being there. I'm not gonna even lie. You're gonna literally, and I think that's why in a lot of relationships, or you could say marriage even, when they kind of together because it just makes sense, but then you see somebody sleeping on the couch this way and this other person sleeping in the bedroom. It's because that physical, it's just not there no more. And I think that's a sign of it being over. Now, emotionally, I think emotion is what keep people around longer than they need to be. And I think that's the harder part of getting over somebody. But I think emotionally, so when those emotional shackles come off, then it's really over. That's when you can really get away from somebody. But I think that's what I say. That physical, you don't want to be physically by nobody, and they're emotional when you love them, probably never start loving them, but you don't have that same love for them. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just some stuff you don't even want to say to them no more. So I think that's when you can tell when you just emotionally not there no more, and when you physically don't want to be around that person. That's when I know my relationship is over. For me, at least.
Okay, so I think for me, just speaking for myself, I would just say at the beginning, like you could just see the signs at the beginning.
You say like already at the beginning of the relationship?
Yeah, you can tell. And like Keontae said, it's an emotional thing that kind of keeps you there in a sense. You just want to see if it'll play out, if that person will be different or something like that. So usually for me, if your attention is not on me, that's how I know right there. Yeah. And that's what most
let me ask this thing. So if you know in the beginning, then why move forward?
Exactly. So again, it's because you're trying to see if that person will change. So my thing is, like we talked about before in one of the relationships episodes about like detaching emotionally. Like once I do that, I'm good. So I usually like I said, it's at the beginning. If you're not 100% focused on me, and I saw actually a TikTok, a girl saying, and I thought I was the only person who thought that. So I'm glad that I did see that. She was saying, why is it that guys don't ask questions? It's like women are always asking the questions, like when you're dating. So to me, when a guy's asking me questions a lot, like what you like to do, even though simple questions like what's your favorite color, it's like, dang, he was really like me. He must really like me. Usually that is true for me. For me now, not everybody else. Because we know you still get cheated, do all that, blah, blah. But when you just kind of coming over, like I said, we just going with the motions and stuff. I can't explain it, but that's how I know it's over.
Yeah. Right. I think for me, what I'm learning is that you have to pay a close attention to what they're doing and not doing in the beginning. So it's like my radar is up now. It's just kind of like, are they showing true, genuine interest in me, or are they keeping it surface? So I think that's some of the things that I'm looking at. But let me just go back to my question. How I know when it's over is when I will address it. So I'll give a person a chance, I'll address it, and I'll say, hey, I didn't like this, or this made me feel this way, or whatever. So I'll give them a chance to correct it, and then I will wait to see if they behavior change. Once I see that that person's behavior is not changing, I'm not going to tell a grown man how to treat me, pursue me, or even just interact with me. So it's pretty much after that, it's kind of like, ugh, because it's a turn. And so then I'll start to, like Casey said earlier, I'll start to emotionally, I'll know, hey, this over. I'm just gonna see how this go, or I'll start trying to, just kind of take steps to let it go. And I'm not gonna just keep addressing with you. I'm just going, at the end, I'm just not going to say nothing, because by that time I'm going to shut all the way down. And I feel like it's nothing else for me to say, because you already know what I didn't like and I already addressed it with you. So it's kind of like, see you later.
But and I think, Joe, when you really think about it, I think there are stages of being over something. I think like it's not as simple as like, it's not black and white. Like we could say we're over something, but we could still be in the house with them, still living with them. It's stages to it. So
absolutely.
So I think a lot of people think when you say I'm over somebody, it's easier said than done. Like we can say we're over somebody, but realistically, we're not really over them. We just kind of getting ready to start that process of trying to be over them.
Or convincing, trying to convince ourselves.
Yeah, convince ourselves like I'm over them, but like you can say you're over somebody, but it's some back that is like, but if they call me tomorrow and change, it'll be okay. Like,
it's because you want that chase. You want them to chase behind you. And that's and I think that's the part that you just gotta be honest about. Like, I want the person to chase behind me. Like, if you like me, you gonna do whatever it takes to make this work, and I'll be willing to give you that chance again. So
and I think that range is long. Like
it's like, oh my God, I miss you. Or kind of reach out. Like if they don't reach out at all, it's kind of like, dog. But most of the time I people do reach out and say little things. I know I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was just explaining to me, just some little things that she didn't like or whatever. But in her case, her person was just reaching out all kind of ways, y'all. It was kind of cute. And I told her, I said, well, I think it's kind of cute. And she was like, no, I don't think so. She was like, it means nothing if you don't have a changed behavior. She said, it doesn't matter if you're reaching out to me on Facebook. I think he was reaching out to her he created a TikTok and friend her there. It was like on all social media, he was reaching out to her, but he wasn't texting. So it's kind of like, so you reached out to me, but you're not texting me. And she was just like, I'm over it. I don't care. And so she didn't find it flattering.
I think some guys, I think that they do that too because of the rejection part. They feel like they're being rejected. So it's just like, okay, let me try to get you back and then call it off. It's just like, no, like we're not gonna play this game. Like and some women do it too. So let me be clear. So I think it's just that whole rejection part too sometimes.
And I think
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, I was just I was gonna say this wasn't even one of my questions, but it kind of goes with it because I know this is like real life. When you're trying to get over somebody, whatever, to have you just in like a hole, which soul ties are good or bad, and you'll find yourself like, why am I thinking about this person? Like this person is not thinking about me, but it'll just you thinking about that person, but that'll be just where your soul is tied to that person, that connection. Even if that person is not good, it takes a minute to get away from that whole bonding, with a person. So do y'all believe in soul ties?
I think that there's somebody out there that we are supposed to connect with. Mind you, well, the part I do believe in is that don't necessarily mean we're gonna ever meet that person. But I do feel like it's somebody out there that connects with us. And I think, like you were saying, I think that's a scary thing too, though, because I think a lot of people are still with people because they feel like we are meant to be together. Like it's a connection there, so I got to just make it work no matter what. And that's kind of the same thing with being over thing. That's adds another layer to that process. You can never really get over somebody if you still got that, like, we're connected and no, this just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, no, we like this, and no, like we got that same zodiac. So like we be talking about the love astrology, all that, like that we just match up this way and it just makes sense. And it's so hard to just knock that stuff. But I do believe in, like, it is somebody out there that we are connected to.
Yep.
I don't know if I necessarily want to run into that person because, like I say, it's probably hard to not. You probably literally be stuck to that person no matter. Oh no, that sounds dangerous, but yeah, it is somebody out there we connected to.
Yeah, I definitely believe in soul ties. I think you have multiple soulmates. I don't think it's just this one person, just because you can be soulmates with your friends as well. Because I think when we think soulmates and soul ties, it's just relationships, but you can have soul ties with people that aren't in a relationship with you, or you're in a relationship with them or whatever. So I believe in it. I do believe the soul ties definitely connect when you're having sexual intercourse.
There's good.
And
that's a good soul tie. It's good when you're in the right union.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I don't know about, but it's where, I don't even know if it's in there, but I heard this. But it's where that's how you're connected. Like that's how. I don't want to go into all of that part. That's a little like a sex class. I don't want to go into that, but it's a whole thing. Just say when a man has intercourse with a woman for the very first time when she's a virgin, that whole connection there is a covering, and that's how those meet together, and that's that good soul tie. It's in the right way. So like soul ties ain't necessarily just bad, but when you know that you are connected to someone that you shouldn't be connected to, and you need to get your mind off that person, and I think that's when it's bad, but it is also good too. So it's just depending on which end of it that you're at.
And I also
work
to get it cut though.
Yeah. I also read something too about the soul ties. They said that having, I know this too much information, but I'm gonna say it anyway because we're talking about it. But they said that having like sexual intercourse while you're on your cycle somehow creates a blood ritual or something like that, and you can get connected like that as well. And it's not always in a good way. And if I'm not mistaken, it's not in a good way. So women, you may want to be careful about that. There's just something around. I don't know how true it is, but I believe it.
My uncle. I was like, thank you.
But I also I also
right,
believe too that the body rejects people too. So like,
yes,
like you can feel, like, I just feel like we're all kind of like energies and stuff like this. So you can feel when a guy just isn't right for you, but I think it's our mind sometimes. Like I said before, we try to convince ourselves like, no, this, he's tall, he's dark skinned, all of this, everything. No, this him. I know it is. So, but our heart, our mind, those feelings like, no, but no, I'm gonna make this work. We're gonna make it work. Because we're stuck on those certain things that we believe, in a sense where attractiveness, when we talk about that, in the beauty, the outside appearances. That's just one example now. But I do believe your soul rejects people as well.
Yeah. Ooh, stay away. I gotta stay away from me. Anybody can need to be stay away from me.
Well, we know you're gonna cut them off. So
Keontae trying to make sure he don't have no commitment or anything.
There you go. There you go. That's right.
I think love is a beautiful thing, though. I think when it is done properly. And, you know, I was just thinking today I was in Aldi's and I was just like, man, I looking forward to that moment where I am in the grocery store shopping for my husband and about to a dinner. I think that would be nice to get to do that for that is my person and not a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that's just like special to me, you know. Like I was watching another podcast where Christian Keys was on, and he was just saying how he went out his way to just do things because he's a hopeless romantic. And I was like, you don't think about guys being a hopeless romantic, but they are. You know, I think they are looking for the same thing that we're looking for, and things that we think that they may not think about, they do. Because he was a prime example of, you know, because he said he went out, he became certified to be a massage therapist just so that he can give his woman a massage. And he liked to shampoo her hair. I was like, one of them. I'll shampoo his hair. Okay. That's the good part of it. Okay, so we know that you can have those soul ties. So let me just say, so how have y'all been able to like move past once you have decided, hey, I'm gonna cut this off? So how do you move past? Ooh, Ashley, go first. You
I'm gonna let Kia say first. I'm like, I gotta go here and think. But I know it. I'm gonna let Kia say go first.
I'm gonna just I gotta think before I speak, Lord. I gotta think before I speak. Okay. For me, like I tell y'all, it is easier for me to really get over somebody. And I know people say you just probably ain't met that, you know, like you just ain't met that right person here where it's hard to knock them off or whatever. And I think it's something in me that, this sounds so bad, I'm gonna say it. I think it's something in me that push for that, like, I don't know, like I just like being by myself so much that I think I done made it where I'm just okay being by myself. So like getting over somebody is kind of like, okay, I gotta do that. You know, it's like a task. It ain't really like I gotta do these steps. Even though I know getting over somebody is hard, I don't think I've experienced it yet where I gotta like go through all these obstacles. I can't stop thinking about maybe I ain't met the right person yet. But for me, let me just say my process. Let me just say. If I was getting over somebody, I think first I give people multiple chances. I really do, because I'm considerate, and I think I'm very nice.
Love.
Yeah.
Say, have you ever been in love?
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh. See?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, woochie.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like it didn't hold me.
What?
It didn't hold me. I'm sorry. Like I was still able to get over it. Now let me say this. Now, am I saying I got over them and I stopped thinking about them the next day? No, that was not the case. It probably took me a week. When I mean a week, it took me a week to get out of that routine. That like expecting us to talk this way or expecting us to hear from each other or having to knock that routine off, like, well, everything I'm doing is I'm kind of doing it, but I'm having somebody on the side of me type thing. So I had to just knock that routine. But once I kind of talked to myself about it, I promise y'all, like I just was over it in that week after next.
You still love that person?
Yeah, I still have love for them. In a way, it can never be a relationship again. Never. But never. I hope they won't. Never. Don't ever. But I still I'm talking about wish them well. I have no ill feelings to it. I kind of operate off of it just wasn't meant to be. You know, you try so much, sometimes you just cannot force something to be. And I feel like you waste time trying to force something. And all that effort you putting in, you could have been with somebody that it just easily worked, So right. I feel like I put too much work in it. I feel like I was just exhausted of it. So it's like whatever. So yeah. I have been in love for but me getting over it is has not been a hard process for me, because I just feel like what is meant for me is meant for me. What is not is not. I'm just kind of simple on that end. And I hope nobody who has went through it bad, please don't knock me and say I'm trying to cap. I'm telling the truth. But yeah, You know, because I know how somebody can get. They can be like, he lying because he's trying to make it look good. I promise you. I just ain't been through that process of it being like this steep climb of trying to get over something. I just haven't been there. So yeah, mine has been pretty easy. Thank you.
Okay, one more question for you then.
Okay.
So when you in your recovering stage, do you jump back right out there or do you take some time off? What do you do?
I'm gonna always take time off. Since I care so much about how I affect the next person or that next situation I'm gonna be in, I want to make sure that I'm completely over somebody first. I want to make sure that like I'm not gonna go back. Now, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not a person that say I never ever go back, but I want to make sure that we ain't just arguing and we just broke up for this week. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure that I'm definitely this finna be it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I don't want to affect nobody else because that I can't sleep with it. That's somebody that karma, so I can't sleep with it. So yeah, so I make sure I never would just jump straight into it. Now I ain't gonna lie and say I'm not gonna lie and say sometimes I ain't saying mess around with nobody right out. I can't say that. But trust me, when I was with it wasn't like I'm finna get with this person, we finna be in a relationship type thing. It was no way. I couldn't do that. I don't think I'll ever be ready for that right after I'm in something serious. I'm not, that's just being realistic. So yeah, no, I never jump right back out there. It's not for me. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
I hope nobody watch it.
None of your ex watch.
Yeah.
They think in love. Was it me? They thinking now. I hope it was me.
I know right here. So hopefully, yeah. But anyway, I love all y'all. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to see I'm trying to think of past relationships. For me, I think going in, even before like getting with the person, I tend to lock in on them, and I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, he mine.
Right.
I'm going for it. Boom, boom, boom. And I get, obsessed and possessive and just locking in. Then once we get together, I have this thing going on here like, oh, we finna do this, that. And if it don't go out the way I envisioned it, then it's like, oh, I automatically start slowly detaching. I'm like, ain't fully giving them a chance. All that, blah, blah. But how did I get over it? I want to say it's more so me like you just wake up one day and y'all not talking no more. That's what I felt like. It was just one day I'm just like, okay, well, it'll be like a month later and be like, oh, I ain't talking to him. Like, oh, well, on to the next person then. Like, hey, and of course you get like little text messages here and there like, hey. But once I detach, that's it. It's no friends, especially if I gave you love and loyalty, especially loyalty, it is no turning back. I know people like, again, it's that you mustn't really love them, all that. And it's just like, no, I did. That's the thing. I gave them everything. So it's no more. It's no,
there you go.
You behind me. So I would just say getting over it, it was just waking up one day and just like, I don't like no more. And it was a slow detachment, not just waking up like, boom, we get into an argument and then the next day I'm over it. Like, no, it was a slow process. And then once you realize like, he ain't even talking to this person no more. I think that's just how it was for me. So I'm going to say that it was just a slow detachment, emotional detachment anyway.
Yeah. So for me, how I recover is that once I get in my head that this no longer serves me, then I'm just pretty much like, okay, that's it. And I will think about it in my head. And the more I think about it, then I'll just kind of go through some things that I think didn't go the right way. And then I'll be turned off by it. I'll look at that person and they'll become unattractive to me, just depending on what it was that happened during the final days of the breakup. So I can just talk about my last thing. Thing. It wasn't even, I'm going to be like Ashley say, it wasn't even a relationship. It was a situationship. Okay. That to go into a relationship. But after I look back over everything, no, it was what it was. And then as things start to just get to where I was just fed up, then I realized that, the way that you move in life is so unattractive. And then also, y'all, I'm trying to look at things from other perspectives about like, because we all got baggage, we all got some trauma that we are, trying to heal from and move forward. So I just kind of look at it like, okay, you must have some things that you need to deal with, as well as myself. I have some things that I'm trying to work out with myself. And I just looked at it that way. And I think that made me feel better to understand that sometimes people are not, it's just that they so damaged, they don't even know how to receive the love that you're trying to offer them at the particular time, just depending on where they are in their own healing journey. And then if they're not recognizing that they need some healing and they just think that everything was okay, then they're not going to understand that, because I have been at a time in my life where I didn't even know I was broken or needed healing. I thought I was okay, so I'm out here. And I'm going to say this, when you are not healed, you will attract another unhealed person, because you're just going to attract yourself. And so sometimes I think, for me, let's just speak for me, I have my last experience, I chose a person out of my brokenness. So it's kind of like we just two broke people found each other, and so
I said that's how it be. I was just saying that's how it be.
Yeah. I'm looking at stuff and I'm reading things, y'all. I'm finding out that, man, it's just so many people in here hurting. I'm talking about real hurting, like childhood, like they done been put through the ringer as a child. So you have to understand, if you don't know what a person has been through, then you can't understand the way that they show up and they love you, because some people just haven't had proper love in their life. So if you haven't been loved properly, you don't know how to give it nor receive it. And so I'm trying to just think that, okay, it's got to be something really wrong with a person to reject this good love I'm trying to give over here. I'm being funny, but, that's
I don't know.
What you say?
I ain't gonna say nothing because I'm tired of. I was gonna say something else, but I done already dug a hole. I can't even get out of here.
You over there getting nervous, ain't it?
I'm gonna say this, boy. I would hate for people to just stumble across this podcast and be like, "It's Tasha." I mean, I'm sorry, it's talking about me.
Yeah.
But you gotta heal yourself, y'all. So let me ask y'all, have y'all been at a place in your life where you felt broken, or have y'all felt like you need to heal from some things?
Okay. I don't think if I was broken, it probably went from the relationship, but it was from, well, let me not say it wasn't from like a intimate relationship, but a relationship like somebody close to me type thing. And I ain't gonna even detail it for real. I feel like I didn't, got over it so much, but I ain't got to get all the details. But in general, I did have this situation where I felt like I was around somebody all the time, kind of, was very close to them. And I guess in your head, you don't think about not being around them no more. So of course it was unexpected. So some stuff happened and we just end up not being cool. But it was one of those where it wasn't like an argument or anything. We just literally I didn't know what was going on. And then they just stopped talking to me, just like out of the blue. And I learned from it now. Now somebody do it now, I probably wouldn't think about it. But that was the first time that happened to me. So of course it was a shocker. I'm kind of sitting there, and it don't even really affect the person. It might hit them later because it's gonna come back to them, but in that moment, it affect the person. They do like that. So that ghosting thing. So you just sit there for a minute. And you think like, you trying to replay everything you did. Like, okay, did I say something? Did I do something? Like, you just you sit there with it. Like it's just like I couldn't come up with an answer. I was just like, but then I had to tell myself like, why am I beating myself up about it? I didn't do nothing, But it do have you sitting there like, what's going on? Like, what I done did? Am I a bad person? Like, did I really do all this? Like you just thinking. So yeah, I feel like that was breaking me down. Like the sitting with my thoughts, thinking like I'm turning into this bad person. Somebody and I will say I gave this person too much power. But sitting there thinking like I did something so bad that it's breaking me down. Just what I'm saying, just think about it. Like I'm in my head all the time. They probably don't even care. I'm in my head all the time thinking like what I done did. now I got to act awkward with this person. I can't go to, these certain places and stuff no more. So I'm gonna say I was broken in it. I have never been broken like this intimate situation, but yeah, in a relationship in my life, yeah. So I have been broken, but I'm glued. I'm glued back together now. Yeah. So yeah, but I have
okay.
But, yeah.
I'm trying to see. Broken. I did have questions like when stuff didn't work out or something. Like it's like, okay, what's really going on? Is it me? Like, that whole little thing. So I guess that would be considered broken. And then to me too, after I break up with a person or the person break up with me, I guess I always look at it like that's the whole rejection part, not taking the rejection part well. So it's, how can I put it? I look at it like, did I even really like that person and why I'm trying to get back with them, or why they trying to get back with me? Or is it because when I'm on the phone with my friends, I'm like, oh, he's a good guy, this, that, that. So I have to try to prove to other people, like, to stick with him, and then once you realize, it's like, that's what it is. It's because we've been talking, people know we've been talking, and know, like, people gonna be talking about me like, oh, they not together. That's what I don't want to face. But once you go back down to reality, it's like, I wouldn't be happy with him. Like, I really wouldn't.
Right.
So once I was broken, I did realize, like, it's okay, and take accountability and what it really is, and try not to make sure that it happens again. But of course it happened again. But now I know. And this younger Ashley, that was younger Ashley, but this Ashley right here know now. So just go for what you like, what you want, not what the world thinks that you need.
There you go.
So, but yes, I've been broken and put back together.
There you go. Yeah.
I also think that sometimes when we are liking somebody, they really don't even be all of that, but we'll just make them way up here because of, and it's so funny because I remember initially meeting a person, I was just like, they okay. But then you'll start being around a person, start looking better and better to you. And I'm not talking about like physical wise. I'm just saying at first it's just like, oh yeah, they okay. But then you'll start to like them. But as soon as you have to think about it, but that's kind of like that representative that they showing you, because once that true person come out, then you realize, you know what? Ooh, I don't even like nothing about you. Like I probably wouldn't even be your, because then you can just see other things about them that you don't like. And I'm not saying that I'm just going to be perfect in a situation where they may not see some things that they don't like about me, but then I'll just kind of think to myself, is this somebody that I could actually be married to and deal with this on a daily basis? Because, some people got little habits that they do. One of the things that I don't like, and I was just talking to my manager at work today about this, because she was just kind of talking about dating. And she said, well, it's kind of expensive to be dating now. She said, because, we used to go out and have fun. She said, but everything is so expensive. And I was like, yeah, but if a guy is trying to date, then he has to understand that he's going to have to spend money. And yes, things are expensive. I'm not saying go to a 5-star restaurant, but don't be trying to do no real low budget type of stuff. But now what I'm hearing is that sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with going on a coffee date, because I was looking at some podcasts say that they don't even want to invest $25 in just getting to know you. So they want to, ask you out for coffee because they know that's a cheap way. They don't even want to spend $25, and that's still cheap too, for 2 meals, just to get to know the person. Because I guess they're going out on so many dates, they like, okay, let me make it as cheap as possible. And I don't date if you're gonna be cheap, and move in that type of way, because and I know it's expensive, and it's kind of like, women are looking for guys to pay for their dates and things like that. But I'm told that sometimes guys are asking women to go Dutch. Like, who does that? And I'm sure it's something out there. I've never had nobody ask me.
Wait, what that is? What is that?
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Oh, that's when you pay for your meal that you have, and then the person pay for their meal.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. I ain't
Yes,
never heard that
Dutch.
term before.
And
I'm so crazy.
yeah,
I'm
Okay.
thinking like, no man.
Well, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'll throw the card on the table and somebody pick one. I'm thinking like it's a
Instantly
game.
thought of like double dates. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
so
Sorry.
Dutch split the bill in half, and
Okay.
which I think is very tact. But yeah, so I just have to think, is this person, and let me say this, y'all. Sometimes people can be at that moment, you could think, oh, they check off all these boxes. But are they going to check off those boxes later when you're, wanting to do other things? So you have to just not look at the present, but look at long term. Can you see yourself with the person? And I've always viewed guys that way. I mean, even when I was younger dating, even when I met my ex-husband, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want a broke guy. I like a smart guy. And it's just certain things that I look for, or that, he has to possess. You have to be stable. Like, I don't get this thing when women go into a relationship with men and they don't have jobs. Like, what we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we gonna get where we're that type
And
of
that's-
stuff.
That's why I always say, like, I can never see the rush into getting married. I understand, and grant, this just me talking now, because y'all know, this right now, this age, I don't want to get married. I just prefer to be kind of like in a long-term relationship, because you can see every part of them. Like, it gives them time to slowly unravel, and you're slowly unraveling to see what you want. And granted, you may eventually get married. I don't know, but I think once you start playing time and dates on, okay, in the next year we need to be married. So now I have to continue to put on this facade. And then once we get married, and not saying this is every marriage or every person, but that's just what I tend to see. You're gonna be a different person when you get married. You like, I just feel like you have to be in a way. Like, how are you not? So I think just slowly working yourself into marriage is okay. Like, don't keep putting a time on it. Like, I feel like I would have to rush to be something that you want me to be. Like, we have to be for real. Like, come on.
And that, and kind of, this is kind of going a little further into it, kind of off topic, but I do think, and this, I think the majority of people, I think a lot of people really are looking to and date potential rather than the person that they have. I think a lot of people are literally chasing potential. So you get with somebody and you can see the potential in them. Like, you can see, okay, they can potentially be this. They're going to be good this way. If we just keep talking, they're going to be good like this. And I think that's where people go wrong with it. And I think that's why later on they see this stuff, they like, because it really wasn't that person. It was the potential. It was the potential. They could have potentially been good like that. I could have potentially saw those qualities because you see it in them. Because you really like them. When you see them, it ain't like you don't like them. It's just you see an image of them before actually getting the image. So you see this person and you like, okay, yeah, I can see us doing this. I can see this. Even they might not even be displaying it yet. But you can see it like, I can see this in them. I see we can do this. I can see them being this like wife, husband. We can have these kids. They're going to be a good father. But that's the potential of them. So, you know what I'm saying? You see it. But then when you get into that relationship further on, you realize you was only really falling in love with an image of somebody. Like, it was not actually them. It's because all you saw was potential. So, yeah, I just thought it out there. It's kind of
that is true. And that's what pretty much I was saying at the beginning, is that I was falling in love with potential. So now that I don't see it, and that's my fault now, not them, but it was my fault falling in love with potential. And now that I don't see it, I have to slowly detach now. Like, I'm like, because this ain't what I seen. But again, that's my fault. So now I know just to take them how they is. You just and see it and slowly be like, okay, I don't like this. Okay. So
sometimes we have to repeat things, and it's like we'll do the same thing over and over because we don't get the lesson. And so I think that, and I was talking to my friends the other day, and she was just like, I got the lesson. Like, I do not have to repeat that. And I think that's very true for me. I have learned some things, and because I didn't really date for real. So it was kind of new to dating. I dated safe people I knew. So I had to learn how to date, and I'm learning how to date. So now I have a lot of do's and don'ts. And so now I'm more equipped to make better decisions. I'm in the process of healing, not heal from everything. But so now, right now I'm not accepting no applications or anything. But when the time comes and I do decide to really venture out there, then I just know how to make better decisions and attract what it is that I'm really looking for. All right, y'all. Thanks for staying tuned. How do you get back out there? I'm scared. Because some people get scared. It takes them years to get back out there. It's just so much.
It is.
It is. It's really scary, like throwing yourself back out there. But I'm going to always say this, and just seeing it now, me being 33, is taking accountability again through the healing process. And because we can say, like, yes, for example, like, okay, I'm not dating drug dealers no more. Okay, that's me taking accountability. But the next person you date is a drug dealer. It's like, no, now take the steps forward to actually don't date anyone like that. Accountability is more than just saying it. You actually have to take the steps, right? So know what you want. Like, I'm going to just say this all the time. You want to be married, right, Tasha? Only thing I can say is get married, right? If I don't want to be married or somebody around me doesn't want to be married, then it's just like, okay, that you may not want to be married right now, or this person wants to be married, then go for it. Go for people that you know want to be married. When that guy tells you at the beginning, I don't want this, I don't want to be married, you know you do, just move on. It ain't rejection. It's none of that.
Right.
I done met guys that said that they want kids and want to be married. I don't want that. No. So yeah, you look good and all this. So now I just got to learn, like, that's just an L. It ain't even really an L. It's a W.
Yeah.
So just moving forward, just taking accountability for actions that you don't want to take anymore, and walking on out the door and dating how you want to date, not how the world wants you to date, not how the world sees you. What do you truly want? What do you want? And you have to feel it. If not, you're going to keep getting what you got before. So I'm going to say that it, on how to throw yourself back out there, just being honest with yourself.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm gonna just say based on what I feel like I do. So I can't get everybody advice because I'm not the best person in relationships, but I can do it based on what I feel like I went right at. I think getting back out there, you have to make sure that you take lessons from that last. So I feel like it's not progressive to, like, if you with somebody and it didn't work out, but to just throw it away and not actually analyze, like, okay, what went wrong here? What did I do in this relationship? What can I fix here? To not analyze that stuff, you're not doing yourself justice, because once you get into the next one, you haven't learned from the last one. So you might go into the next one doing the same thing. So I think every time you are ending a relationship with somebody, which I feel like is normal for us to have multiple people, we're supposed to do that. It's so many people in the world. So every experience you're supposed to learn something from. So I don't feel like you should go into that next until you have learned something from the last on why it didn't work. If you go through different experiences and not learning anything from the experiences, then you're not really helping yourself. I feel like every time you go into a new relationship, you should be looking at that last one like, okay, let me make sure I don't do this, or let me not allow this. Let me not let this person do this to me. I saw how that made me feel, so let me make sure I address that first. Sometimes in relationships you get into where you let people do stuff for so long that you become conditioned to just accept it. If you and that's normal, in relationships. But when you go into the next person, you make sure you already let them know. My last, I just don't see a problem with it if somebody just open up to you and be like, well, yeah, I just don't like that because I done been with somebody before they did that and it made me feel uncomfortable. Some people hate when you bring up exes and all that, but sometimes you just gotta, be honest with people so they won't do it.
Right.
So yeah, I think if you don't go into if you're gonna get back out there and date, definitely give yourself time and always make sure you have learned something from your other experience that can help you with this one. Because if not, it's really no point in you to experience all that stuff. So yeah, because when you know better, you do better.
Right.
So that's it. That's all I got. I just wanted to say last, I know a lot of people out there, I have friends, everybody I know, people feel like it's a crime or a sin to take a long time to get over somebody, and it's really not. I'm not gonna lie. Like, people can definitely get you in close, and I know sometimes I know we judge people. Sometimes we be looking at people, we be like, why they still talking to them and da, 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 But it's understandable sometimes. I get it. Like, it is hard to knock people off. I'm not gonna lie. And some people just put it. I often say, put it on you. I'm gonna say it. Put it on you where you just cannot let it go. It's so many different ways that people just literally just had you stuck, and they just had you on the hook, and it's hard to get away. So I don't feel like, just don't, for anybody out there who just feel like it's hard to get over somebody, don't. Like, just feel like it's too, like, you're doing the worst thing ever. Don't. Like, love had you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, go through your process, and just, if you do want to get over that person, just work it. Just do the work. Like, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week. Just do the work. Like, what the process is, just work on it. You know what I'm saying? You want to get over somebody, just work on it. It does not overnight thing. So, but yeah, don't feel like you're doing a sin because it takes you forever to get over somebody. That's natural. It's okay. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I got.
I think I'll just say it too. I agree with what you said.
Who do you think get girls, guys?
Get over people faster?
Yeah.
I think it's just so obvious. I think men get over women faster, and we know why. Because women are emotionally driven in a sense, where they be emotional side of people. So, like, that's why women, I think, are better at loving people unconditionally. I think men don't do that. Like, they love you for what you've given them or what you have, how good it is. But for women, they love unconditionally. So it is going to always be harder for a woman to get over somebody than a man. A man, what they going to do is this. A man can just listen to the internet. After a while, you can think a man going through something. No, he ain't. Because the internet that told him, she ain't worth it, bro. You should be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, they pump that up. So I feel like it's easier for a man to just be like, let me go on to the next one because it's normalized. For a woman, it's gonna take longer. Like, women really, like, it's the emotions with it. And it sounds bad because it's not saying that some men don't be emotional, because some men do. But in a general sense, what the public would say, this is going to take a woman longer to get over a man than a man will over a woman.
But it's over her though, because sometimes they can move on to another woman, but they can still be holding that thing for that woman. I think it's kind of even, to be honest, because I have seen some men just cry like a baby after a breakup. Just as emotional as women. So
yeah, but it's true. Well, let me rephrase it. Say that men are better at hiding.
I think it's even.
Put it like that.
It just depends on that person.
And I think men are better at hiding it. Put it like that. So they get away with it easier. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, as you can say,
right? Yeah, I agree with that. It's like they have a method that is easy to do because they're just gonna go get up under another one and just. I mean, I'm not saying that women don't do that either, but they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna heal myself from being with this woman, whatever. But then they need to do some internal work. But yeah, I get it.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I guess my closing remarks are, like I said before, just date who you want to date. Be open to other options too. You don't have to always just date your preference as well. So I think that's another way of learning how to, throw yourself back out there. Don't just keep going for your type, especially when it comes to looks. But also too, like I said, if you're like a person like me that just isn't interested in the marriage life or the kids' life, that's fine. Don't let anyone pressure you into things that you don't want to do, including family, because I know a lot of people's families pressure them into doing things that they don't want to do because of tradition or because of how the world see you. If you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. If you want to have kids, have kids. If you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. If you want to stay in an apartment your whole life, stay in an apartment your whole life. If you want a house, get a house. Like, don't let these pressures of the world steer you into something that you really don't want. Know
Right.
what you want. You know in this moment what you want. We know
Right.
stuff can change. I turned 40, you never know. It'll be like, oh my God, Ashley, you're married? Yeah, I changed my mind. You're gonna grow. Your mind
Yeah.
is gonna change, and that's okay. So
Mhm.
yes, I'll leave y'all with that. Just do what you wanna do.
Yeah.
Bye
I second it.
All right.
Yep.
Well, guys, make sure y'all subscribe, share, like, leave us comments, and we will see you on our next episode.
Bye bye. Bye bye.